What's up, Gaming Nation? This is Brandon from Top10Gamer.com coming at you with part 8 of 10 in our Build a Gaming PC series. This time it's the $1,500 gaming PC build. We'll first give you a max FPS option and then a mainstream build for those of you who are a little bit more casual with your performance. If this is your first time visiting our channel, be sure to check out our other PC build videos. All of these will be updated one time a year as far as the video is concerned, but maintained monthly on my website so that you can always have an up-to-date video. So if you're finding this video much later than June 6th of 2013, then be sure to check out the website for our up-to-date list of all of our PC builds from $300 all the way up to $2,000. Okay, so for the processor, we're going to go and stick with the i5-3570K. Now, some of you may be asking why we don't jump up to the i7-3770K at this point. And the reason is pretty simple. It's because it's not going to really help us as far as in-game performance is concerned. We're better off, if we're looking at purely max FPS, we're better off dedicating that money elsewhere to our graphics card, maybe additional RAM, or more overclocking options. For our graphics card, we're going to jump up to the GTX 780 here. The cheapest one available right now is about $650, but this allows you to spend about 40% of your overall budget on your graphics card. There are certainly some good SLI or Crossfire options here. Maybe you guys can list them in the description below if you really have them. I know that the GTX 770 and SLI is simply amazing, but if you have something that you want to mention, be sure to put some benchmarks with it as well. Alright, so to stay ahead of the curve, we're going to jump up from 8 gigabytes of RAM all the way to 16 in the Corsair Vengeance RAM. Again, keep in mind that low cast latency RAM isn't going to help you that much in terms of your FPS. So getting a good solid gaming RAM that's inexpensive and that works well and will last you a long time is a bigger priority than just focusing on whatever RAM is simply going to have low cast. For our motherboard, we're going to stick with the ASRock Extreme 4, one of the best motherboards in the $130 to $225 price range. And then we're going to boost up our power supply by going with the TX750 Enthusiast series. This is a well-liked and reliable power supply series from Corsair that does a good job. It's not the best out there, but it does a good enough job that it should last you for many years to come. For our computer case, I'm recommending the CM Storm Enforcer, which is a really great option for those of you looking for a new computer case. It has a window on the side. It's one I personally own. I recently made a video about my the PC I built just a few months ago, and you can see it in there. It has some really good functionality. Comes with two 200mm fans and then an optional 200mm fan on top. It's super easy to install, and I love all the 2.5-inch options. Okay, so for our CPU cooler, we're actually sticking with the Hyper 212 EVO, but I wanted to give you guys some really good options if you're into overclocking that I've come across that will give you the best performance for your money in the $30 to $100 range. The first one is the Noctua 6, really good, voted one of the best fan CPU coolers available. Also, the TPC 812 from Cooler Master is a really good one to look at. And if you're into liquid cooling, check out the new NZXT Kraken X40, as well as the Corsair Hydro Series H100i, one of my favorite liquid coolers available. So if you guys are wondering where I get my information from, I'm constantly looking on different websites, technical websites, reading articles, and then testing things myself. I can't test everything. That's simply not possible. But there's enough good information from hardware sites that I can bring you valuable information when you're building your PC. Always check below in the description if you have a question about where I'm coming up with my information, if you want a more extended version of this video or want to know more information yourself. Okay, so for our mainstream build, we're going to take a look at our CPU and GPU combination. It's going to be a little bit different here. We're going to jump up to the i7-3770K to give us that hyper-threading functionality. Again, when I'm talking mainstream, this is more of a build that I would think most gamers would build, including myself. I'd rather go up to the i7-3770K here. As far as our GPU, we're going to go with the GTX 770 instead of the 780. If you're like me, then you like to replace your GPU every couple of years anyway, and so sticking with something like the 770 that only costs $400 instead of going up to a $700 graphics card makes it a lot simpler to replace within a couple years. Okay, so for everything else, everything's going to be pretty much the same on our mainstream build as our max FPS build, except for one thing, and that is that we're going to add a solid state drive in the Samsung 840 250 gigabyte version. You can pick up this super fast solid state drive for about $170. It's not as fast as the 840 Plus per se, but I got to tell you, I use this thing each and every single day, and I absolutely love it, and I don't really notice the difference between a slightly faster solid state drive and one like the 840 Plus as far as everyday work is concerned. Okay, so that's it for our $1,500 gaming PC. As always, be sure to check the website if you're coming here much later than June 6th of 2013. On the website, we have a write-up where we keep up to date our builds from $300 all the way to $2,000. It's a place where you can get a lot of information. There's a lot of good commenting going on. Also, be sure to put anything that you have in mind in the comment section below. I'd love to hear what type of build you would make as far as max FPS is concerned in the $1,500 price range. So I hope you guys liked this build. If you did, please press that like button and that subscribe button. It really helps me out if you'll do that. Also, be sure to check out our $1,250 build and $1,750 build if you're in this price range. Well, that's all. As always, I hope you guys remember who you are and rage quit at least one time a day. It really makes me happy.